probiotics, whether to take them or not. I'm Dr. Carrie Lam. This is Dr. Michael Lam, and we're here to talk about whether it's good for you to take natural probiotics, food or through supplements, and how it's beneficial to people with adrenal fatigue or not. So how are probiotics play into part for someone who's suffering with adrenal fatigue?
Well, first of all of us have probiotics in the body, and we need probiotics in order to have a healthy body. Probiotics is part of the microbiome, which is actually 10 times more or 100 times more in terms of microorganisms in the body, and is responsible for making a lot of the precursors to our neurotransmitters and hormones. In fact, the gut is called the second brain for that purpose. It sends the precursors to the brain for the neurotransmitters to be actually made, such as even serotonin. So the problem with adrenal fatigue is that when the body is in a weak and stressed out state where the cortisol is down and the adrenals are not functioning well, there's a process of slowing down. And when the gut slows down, then the probiotic tend to be affected. See? Mm-hmm. So that is kind of the biggest issue that we have to deal with, the balancing of the probiotics.
Right, so balancing of the probiotics with the prebiotics and the bacteria that are already in your gut, it's very important. So we have 3 different types of general systems of foods that can give you probiotics. The sour types of foods, the fermented types of foods, and the cultured types of foods. So an example of like the sour types of food is apple cider vinegar. Do you ever drink apple cider vinegar or recommend it for your clients?
Yeah, I think that everything that you mentioned is quite good. Depending on the person's constitution, the state of weakness, apple cider vinegar can be helpful, but oftentimes it can actually make things worse. So everyone is different. Now, bear in mind that I deal with cases of clients that are really weak. So these are not your healthy people that are doing well and then go running marathons already. So in this type of subgroup of people who have adrenal fatigue, the weaker you are, the more careful you have to be, even with probiotics, because probiotics does have issues, especially if it's too strong. People think,
what kind of issues?
Well, it can get constipation. It can even trigger adrenal crashes. It can have more bloating. Sometimes it can even cause diarrhea. So, it has paradoxical effects. And the common misconception, and this is going off track a little bit from what you were saying about apple cider vinegar, the common misconception is that the more strain, the higher the intensity, the better. But it's actually not true,
Right, so sometimes you look at the count of bacteria in there, that doesn't necessarily mean it's better, because when you have more bacteria, sometimes the people with adrenal fatigue are not able to handle that metabolic load that the bacteria are going to be processing and digesting and putting out, and your body has to deal with that metabolic load also.
Yeah. And most probiotics, they go through a process of freeze-dry, or encapsulation. In that process, many die. Mm-hmm. So it's, if you have a very high strain or high volume, billions and billions, there's no use to take billions and billions of dead.
They're not even alive. Right?
They're not even alive.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is to match, and the key is to have different strains at different times to rotate. So our program is involved with giving people very, very good health support in the gut-wise, but we do it in a way that does not aggravate and make the body worse by giving them more load, and that is the key. Mm-hmm.
And the other way, if you don't want to do supplemental probiotics, is to do naturally. Like we already talked about the apple cider vinegar, but there are fermented foods like kimchi, which is a Korean dish, or natto or miso, which are Japanese dishes. And if you like German, it would be like sauerkraut.
Yeah, but you have to be careful. Even though fermentation is very good, if you have a concurrent candida infection, then sometimes, not all the times, the candida can get worse.
So that's the fermented types of foods that could give you probiotics. And the cultured ones, cultured dairy like yogurt, if it's Greek, and goat yogurt, or even aged cheeses that are raw and not pasteurized might have good probiotics also.
Yeah, just make sure that the yogurt is not sweetened unnecessarily. And then, you should be able to titrate up a little bit. Overall, I mean, yogurt and the probiotic is a good thing for the body. Don't discount that. The question is, if you are weak, if you are sensitive, if you have gut issues, you don't just jump right into it. I think that the important part is to fix the adrenals and allow the system to kind of settle down and find its own level. If you need the probiotic, you can always add the probiotics and prebiotics and etc. There are many ways to do it, but you have to do it in a way that helps the body and not make the body work harder.
So that's all you need to know about probiotics, and we're here to help you on your health journey.